Hello, good morning, Nir. Thank you for tuning in for the second workshop. Today, we're going to be bringing on Julian, who's with Nova. It's going to be a really exciting workshop talking about private memory and what you can do with Nir when you leverage a lot of its tech stack, such as smart contracts and TEEs. Without further ado, I'll bring on Julian. Oops. There you are. Hey, how's it going, Julian? Good morning.
How are you? I'm good. Good morning.
Good. Well, we got a couple of mornings in the chat. That's pretty good. I'm excited for this presentation today.
I have some slides. Oh, yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead. So you have some slides?
Yeah, I have some slides for you, like to give a better idea of the whole landscape and also going more in detail about the technical stuff. So I hope you like it.
Awesome. If you don't mind, could you present the slides at the bottom and then I'll bring them up?
Yes. Here we go. Share screen. There it is.
Okay, cool.
Is it a full screen or not for you?
You can, what I usually do is I do that slideshow. If you go to slideshow at the top, and then if you,
We got it.
yeah. We want this one. There we go. All right. I'm going to pull down. Great. Take it away, Julian.
Let's go. All right. So thank you very much, Liot, for setting this up, and thank you guys for attending. I will present Nova, a project I've been working for some months, essentially because I started coding as a data analyst and machine learning. And I got really excited about collecting data. I would say, like most data guys, I think when you start to use AI for some prediction, or you try to collect more data to scale up the model accuracy and get better results. So I've been starting by accumulating or agglomerating data by scraping the web to build my own data sets and make my own AI models. Nowadays, I guess this practice is a bit deprecated actually, because now we have those big AI companies that are providing like quite advanced and very well trained model. There is no reason to make that. But yeah, still, this got me. I mean, it attracted my attention on some topics like data privacy and how do we secure our data on the internet. I had a zero malicious intention when I did this kind of things. I was just a student. I was trying to push my research as much as possible. I was opening my reports and data analysis on Medium, and I was opening the machine learning model on GitHub, but still, that was not standard practice. I do think that the law on data was more flexible. I think I did that around 2019, 2020. I don't think it was so restrictive like it is nowadays. Same as for the platforms. But yeah, I discovered when the platform originally authorized us to automate some of the workflows. I've done that a lot on LinkedIn, on X back in the days. Nowadays, when you start using bots, usually your accounts get frozen quite fast. And I believe this is because you are messing up with their business model. So somehow the big platforms, the centralized platforms, they have an access to all your data, but they don't want a single user to collect data on other users for reasons that we can imagine, security reasons probably. But yeah, I do think that there is something that's a bit like unfair. Those big monopolies can use our data as much as they want, and ourselves when we want to, for example, make a market analysis, make a customer analysis, all these kind of things, we have to pay the data providers to get the data. And so that was one first concern, I would say. But there is more that's coming now because the AI makes data valuable. Otherwise, as a creative, for example, I do not want my data to be used. Suppose, I don't know, you have a hobby. For me, it's music, but let's say you are a designer or a photographer, for the example. And if you spend like some months or some years to catch the best picture, and then you have to share it on the internet to get some attention, you don't want your picture to be mashed up in some AI that will plagiate or make it easy to plagiate your work. This is one of the concerns. And when we use AI in the context of crypto trading, there is even more concerning things, like you will probably share financial strategies with your AI assistant. You will also provide personal data to get your assistant to know you the best as possible and provide a personalized service advice. And I find it really concerning. There is a sort of mood change in, at least in France at the moment. I believe it's probably the whole Europe. But yeah, France is trying now to force crypto holders to provide their details, their crypto activity details, to collect taxes, obviously. It's a bit absurd if we think about that in a volatile market, because for sure the state will cut a fee on your profits, but they will never give you your money back if the market goes down. That's one thing. But there is actually something much more, I think, concerning. We are seeing a rise of kidnap attempts or hijacks on big crypto holders in France, maybe everywhere in the world, I don't know. But I really don't trust the states in being able to handle their databases. We know that there have been some data leaks. They are sometimes being hacked. Maybe it's too hard to handle that much data in such a complex institution as the states. But still, I don't want my data to end up in a centralized database that's potentially compromised or could be compromised. And so, we also see how they negotiate with social media platforms, and because of the security reasons, they want the social platform to provide them with a backdoor so they can eventually check who's doing what online. And this is something like they will very probably apply the same method to the AI companies. So I guess that soon, if you want to sign a deal with your AI company to work in France or maybe the whole Europe, you will have to accept that the user data is being shared with the states. And I find it really concerning. And so that's why I'm coming with Nova. Actually, I believe that we should now, as developers, build apps that can see their users' data for this very exact reason. And so Nova looks like this. That's the tech stack. The only public thing of the system is the near smart contract that is used to record metadata and transaction logs. You have a big private stack. The shade agents host the keys, and the user accounts, same as the group keys. We will discuss that more in details, but all the keys stay in the shade. They are generated and encrypted in the shade, so no one can retrieve it if not the key owner. The decentralized storage, anything that's being uploaded in the decentralized storage is encrypted only. So there is no plain text data that's being communicated outside of your local device. This is also valid for the MCP server. The MCP server never sees any key nor data, plain text data. On the user interface, I am hosting the client-side encryption, and so I'm mimicking the same pattern with the SDKs. Nova comes with 2 SDK, one JavaScript and one Rust. And I believe that's the best way to integrate the decentralized backend service in your dApp using the APK. This user interface is really cool to test some of your workflows, or just to make it fast, or to onboard users fast. But then, yeah, all this can disappear and be automated in your app. And the unencrypted files, as I say, just stay on your computer. The other positive side of client-side encryption is that we can encrypt much more file formats. In the early version of Nova, I was making the encryption of in the server, and actually it's sometimes imprecise. But yeah, it was also a bit annoying because most files like .json, .csv, all these files we use for datasets, they are not supported by the average LLM. And so, yeah, that's it. I'm starting with more details. It's quite text heavy. If you want me to, I will not read everything, but if we have some questions that pop up in chat or whatever, we know where to find the answer. And otherwise, we will go by the main. I will tell you the main functionality of each of the components of the system, and then we will see at a wider scale how this all blends together. The smart contract is used for access control and transaction logging. It has the main methods, which are register group, add or revoke a group member, upload. It's called record transaction here, but so when you upload a file, it records the transaction on the blockchain. The claim token function is used for retrieving this encrypted file. And you have a collect fee for the pay-per-fees model of business. We'll see it later. And then I added more view-only functions, which are quite practical if you want to just chat with your LLM to know, hey, which groups do I own? Which groups have I access to? Who else is within this same group as me? And this kind of like daily needs. There are some workflows here. Let's say, for example, we take one workflow, the group creation workflow with secure key generation. So when you call the contract to register a group with a group ID, you attach some fee. It checks the group does not exist yet, and it creates the group with an empty checksum. It adds the caller as the member of that group. And it updates the indexes. I have vectors for owned groups and members group, the one we just discussed about. It emits an event. Nova event registered is emitted from the blockchain. The MCP detects this event. It calls the shade agent to generate a key. The key is stored in the SQLite within the trusted execution environments. It returns the checksum, and then the owner updates the checksum in the group. So that's the full loop to create a group with Nova with a secure key stored in Shade Agent. Speaking of the Shade Agents, they have two routes. So I have two databases actually in the Shade Agents. One is for user keys. So when someone creates an account on Nova, it creates a sub-account of my main account, Nova SDK.near. This is made primarily to collect the fees, actually. I couldn't find a better way for my users to simply send some bucks at a deposit somewhere and Nova to burn the credits when the user uses it. So creating an account on Nova will create like a new near account, and the Shade agent stores the key, it retrieves the key, or you can check the key. every time you authenticate, you can authenticate with your email or social using host0. You have direct authentication with your wallets, and the SDKs are authenticated through the API key that you can generate on the same interface. As for the file operations, there is this second route, which is about like keys management. And this is where the group keys are generated within the shared agent. It never gets out. And when you need to access a group, you will prove that you have a valid token in your hand to get the key and access your file. Every time one group member is being revoked, then there is a key rotation, so that person cannot access anymore to the files that were stored within this group. The decentralized storage, I'm using IPFS with Pinata. Pinata makes it immutable and easily retrievable, actually. IPFS by itself is a content addressable storage, which means that every time, suppose you have a data set that's uploaded, if the data gets compromised for whatever reason, it could not happen inside Nova, but let's say, I don't know, someone changes a character within this data set, then the encryption will be totally different and the seed will be totally different. So you will automatically see clearly that this is not the same file as the one you try to retrieve, or the one you previously uploaded. That's one thing. What else? On-chain integrity ensure. Yes, so the seed and the hash are recorded on the near blockchain every time you record a transaction. That's good for indexing. Actually, there is no, using IPFS and Pinata, there is no central custody. So unlike AWS S3 or Google Clouds, or I've been discussing about the advantage of Nova against Dropbox, for example. What makes it really powerful is that there is no database that could be eventually like compromised or that could stop their services one day. Your data is there on the decentralized storage, is there forever, and like no one can access it without the appropriate key. The MCP server is the orchestrator. It makes like the link between the front end and the back end. And it's really convenient because you can chat with your system in human language. It has the same tools as the one we've just seen in the smart contract, like register group, add revoke group member, record near transaction. Then you have the get shade key command. And you have the prepare upload, finalize upload, prepare retrieve functions, methods, which are the ones used by the front end for client-side encryption. And then you also have those equivalent queries for the view methods. And the MCP server also have REST wrappers for the API calls by the SDKs. Should we maybe look at one of the workflows? Let's check at the end-to-end encrypted file upload. So the client prepare upload with a group ID and the file name. The MCP server will fetch the key from the shared agent. It will return a temporary upload ID and key. That's then the client, so it could be the interface, novasdk.com, or the SDK. The client will encrypt the file, the data that needs to be uploaded. And it will call the finalize upload with this upload ID that contains the secure key, the encrypted file, and the file hash. The MCP validates the ID and uploads to IPFS. And then the contract is called to record transactions. So we have this forever memory of the file upload on the near blockchain, and it returns the SID, which is your URL or address to know where your file is in the decentralized storage. And at the end, the client verifies the hash to be sure that it's the right data that has been uploaded and there is no corruption in the process. On the user interface, this is where you will essentially find your login and your API keys. So even though if you would like to use Nova by your SDK only, you will need to go to Nova to create an account and generate an API key for your SDK to use it in the background. This interface features the login and authentication. As we said, with the Near Wallets, email, or Google GitHub, you have the chat interface, which is gated to authenticated users. So you need to be authenticated to use the Nova chat. It streams all MCP tools. I'm using Claude Haiku for now because the tasks are not so complex. So I think this light version of Anthropic models is quite good enough for what we are doing here. And you have this encrypt decrypt client side methods. So that's one thing. Let's check the user onboarding. On your first login, you will have to create an account. So you click login. There are two paths, email or social through Auth0 or the Near Wallets. The UE will call the check for account in shade to be sure that no account is already created with that email or wallet. It will open the create account model. The user chooses a username. It automatically appends the sub account suffix. And then it creates a Nova account using my account as a signer. So that was also the other thing, creating sub accounts. It allows me to pay for the account subscription. I think that it could be a no-go if you start to ask people to pay upfront. Like, I don't know, I think I prefer sponsoring the account creation. So the user is onboarded, he can start to chat with the app and see that, okay, it looks legit, it's working, and then they will put some money to make their file operations. And so once the account is created, it stores a private key in the shade, it returns the account ID, and the user interface injects the key directly in the wallet connector to auto-connect your Nova accounts. And every time you go back to Nova, you will have your accounts being automatically detected and connected. But these are pretty much the same functionalities, except that it's coming with the SDK. It features the client-side encryption, decryption, the authentication and initialization methods. You can handle your group operations, the members management, file operations. That's pretty much it. You still have to create your accounts and API key on the interface. And so it all integrates like this. I like this diagram, which is quite easy to understand, I think now. So as you can see, we have a front end of the site. On one side is the user interface or the client SDK. The front end is made for the onboarding steps, for natural language commands, for the client-side encryption, and the developer's integration. Both interfaces communicate with the MCP server, which is the orchestrator of this system. And then, as you can see, the MCP server will register groups and members operation on the Nova smart contract, which triggers events like key generation or key rotation to the shade agent in Falas TEE. And the MCP server also communicates directly with the shade for authentication, user authentication, essentially. The backend here is composed of the smart contracts and the shade agent. It's made for access control, user authentication, key management, and fee collections. And on the side, you have this data layer where you upload and retrieve your files from. And yes, decentralized storage, IPFS. All right, we can check all them, maybe not in detail now, but I have been very cautious to be sure that Nova is bulletproof and that Nova can resist to all threat like key exfiltration. It's not possible to replay tokens because the tokens, for example, are they have a short time window of 5 minutes and they can use once. So yeah, it makes it impossible for someone to reuse the token you claim to access your group. All these kind of things actually could not be used for hacking or for getting data maliciously. It's not possible to impersonate the signature system because you need the key to do that, and the key is stored in the TE. No man in the middle attack possible. Well, we can go in more detail if you want to. I would like to speak something more easy. The business model, I implemented a simple pay-per-action fees. I think that it's good that my users will spend some money to have, let's say, a deposit that's available, and then burning this deposits when they use their system. I think it's more comfortable than maybe charging fees every month or something like that. This will maybe change, but for the moment, that's it. I think it's good like that. And so essentially, I try to simulate what would I need to do, how many users would I need to get a revenue of 10,000 USD. On the expense side, I'm spending mostly for Fala TEE, for FastMCP, that's hosting the server, and Vercel, that's hosting the interface. It's about 1,100 yearly spendings. And on the income side, I have 3 user profile. The first one, which I call the testing user, they probably not spend more than $1 just to test, creating one group, uploading one file, maybe retrieving it twice, and querying the system 3 times, just to check how it works. That's one thing. I believe they will represent maybe 60% of the user base. We'll see. The next one will be the average user. It's quite low in terms of spending, so I might be a bit pessimistic, but anyways, yeah, this average user will create one group with 4 members and upload maybe 10 files, retrieve it 20 times, and make 15 queries. And the active user, someone who starts to spend more than $5 every month at Nova, will probably have at least 3 groups at that time, 10 members, 25 file upload, 50 retrieve. This means that active user is the one who knows what he's using, why he's using Nova. Actually, he has a business, or he has an activity that make it obvious for him to spend a bit of money in the secure file sharing system. And so I had this evaluation with about 450 users. I will generate 10,000 US dollar with this current business model. In terms of milestones, so I started with this system last year. I think in February or March, I started to research about data privacy using an open ledger. And this is when, I've read some academic papers on the topic. One in particular got my attention and inspired the Nova architecture. I started to prototyping. I think it was in April already, but I've been very busy on other stuff in May. I couldn't finish it before the summer. I took a break from coding in August. And when I got back in September, I started from scratch. I think I had a fresh mind. I also got the direction of the NearCon, so I knew, okay, maybe, somehow I see a sort of roadmap. I had almost 6 months to build something that would be useful for the NearCon. And I iterated, I think, 3 times, maybe 4, but let's say 3 big times. It took me 1 month for each, a bit months for the last one, 2 months for finishing the user interface. Basically, I collected your feedback, Elliot. I think it was early October. You gave me some interesting tips to move on the second iteration. I've had a discussion with Eric at Near AI, who also explained me a bit how to set up this multi-user interface for my remote MCP server. And I also had an interesting feedback from Owen. So essentially, these are the three prototypes I've been doing to build Nova as it is nowadays. We are on the first quarter of 2026. Nova is mainnet. I'm starting to register the first users. I'm expecting more, of course, with the events, the new innovation sandbox. What I will probably start to do after the NearCon will be to work on my business developments. For the moment, Nova is great because it's versatile, so it can be a bit everywhere. But still, I would like to have a refined customer research to know exactly who could buy Nova. I believe that in the B2B space, there are probably a lot of companies who want to use that, who want to use AI to automate their workflows, but they don't want to open their company's data. And so, I'm pretty sure there is something to find here. I need to investigate more in my customer profile. And so hopefully I will find the product market fit by June, July. I will double down on the marketing when I will know who I am talking to. And then it will be about sales and customer support, onboarding more Nova users. If everything happens like expected, I will maybe probably start to re-engineer Nova to fit its first batch of users. And that's it. If you want to contact me, you can do that on X at Nova_SDK and Telegram. Same, I have a group there. First users have started to send their message there, so I could provide the support. This will be the best way. The Telegram group, if you want to reach out or if you want some help to integrate Nova in your system. And that's it. Elliot, I'm all yours.
It's great, Julien. Here, actually, go back and bring that last slide up. Let's have that QR code that you had for the Telegram open. That was a great presentation, Julien. Really well done. I especially, 2 things that came to mind were, 1, I love how you leverage so much of the near stack to achieve what you're doing, this sort of private memory. How you have you're leveraging the smart contract with the TE. You're using that shade agent framework where the smart contract can only take in requests from a TE that matches that code hash, right? And then that's how you're doing this sort of private memory group encryption, leveraging an API key to that TEE to encrypt the data that you access. I've tried it out myself. It's an intuitive SDK. I really like it. I do want to, you have a bounty though, right?
Yeah, I have a bounty. I have a 3,000 bounty.
Let me bring that up.
Yeah.
There you go. Tell us about this bounty.
So the whole idea is to get closer to my market fit. I can come with ideas, but I do think that the participant to the hackathon know better. They are more. They will probably try more stuff, probably things I haven't think about. So if we think of the business model of Nova, Nova will collect money by file operations. So if we could find like an app that will be hungry for data exchanges, analysis, things like that, this would probably give a good financial base to Nova. Otherwise, I think the idea behind sponsoring this innovation sandbox is to let the final user tell me in which direction I should drive Nova. That's the thing.
Gotcha. And so a lot of these, like what these ideas that you have here, what they have in common is this. You essentially, it's when you have like two near accounts that are both a part of a group and can access the same encrypted data.
Yes.
And so that opens up a lot of different ideas. I was trying it the other day because I had it like, let's say you have like a container, and you want to I had like a Cloudflare Sandbox container, and I was trying to save environment variables locally, like push them out to that container. But I could set up two accounts, and I set up one locally so that I could save those variables into that account, into that group, and then before deploy, my host would be the other part of that group and could query and get those variables. It's good for like transfer in a lot of those ways.
Yeah, exactly. I started my use cases with something that's I was thinking of financial use cases, healthcare records. I started with these kind of things, but I don't know which exactly model will fit the market for mass adoption, because that's what we are looking for. So from my perspective, let's say as a tech guy who likes workflow automations, and I'm imagining that that Nova will be useful for a stream of AI agents that will pass data from one to each other, to learn from each other, to make some sort of collective or federated learning at scale. But yeah, who knows? This sounds a bit too scientific maybe for the market. I have no idea. But yeah, that's one option. The private memory seems to be something interesting. I think it was you, Elliot, who told me that you maybe wanted to think of family chat to record memories. I'm pretty sure this is something, most people, non-tech savvy people, can find it interesting. Like, why don't we create a group with pictures from our grandparents and some videos and stuff. So that's maybe another way to encrypt some private memory that you want somewhere forever.
Cool. We have one question. Let me pull it up. Kind of related to that. So somebody was asking if you can use Nova as a Postgres DB.
Nova itself is a SQLite database. The SQLite database is stored in the shade agent. I don't know, honestly, what do you mean by that? Nova could be, Nova would be by default, by design, a decentralized database. So maybe Nova can replace the Postgre database in your app. That's for sure. And that's what it's meant actually for. Yeah, I hope that's your question.
So I just want to remember, you encrypt the data that gets uploaded to IPFS, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
The data is encrypted end to end, so you will mash your local file with a key and a temporary token to be sure that no one can can hijack your file operation. So the data is being encrypted locally. It goes on IPFS, and if someone tries to retrieve this data because he found the SID somewhere, the cryptographic hash somewhere, it can, it can access the data, but it's unable to decrypt it. So yeah, it's not an exploitable data actually.
Interesting. Yeah, I'd be interested. I'd be interested in what the storage limits are, and I wonder. I mean, you probably could. It'd be a lot of serializing and deserializing, but if you could do a SQLite and store a whole SQLite like serialized DB inside of Nova, I have no idea.
I don't know. I will need to investigate that, but
people, lots of good mornings, lots of support in the chat. Julian, you did a great presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
So that's 3K for this bounty. Will it all be going to one winner, or will it be splitting up between multiple?
Well, I think yes. I think the funds will be a bit blended up all together. I don't know exactly what the near executive have in mind, but yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you very much for coming on today, Julian. It was a wonderful presentation.
I'm always available, as you can see here. Like you can, I have an office. So yeah, if you are working in Nova, it can be there, or with the track bounties file that Elliot had. But yeah, so if you want, or you can always book an appointment, or let's say you are coding your app and you have you want to discuss about something, you can book some meeting with me and we can take the time to check that.
Awesome. That's great. Okay. Well,
that's it from my side.
Awesome. I don't see any more questions on here, so I think we'll start wrapping up right there. Thank you so much for coming on today, Julian.
Thank you, Elliot. Have a good day.
You too. So want to tap in, scan those QR codes, try out this bounty. This is just workshop 2 of the Innovation Sandbox. We got a couple of other workshops coming up this week. I think there's going to be 3 more. And we got a couple more ecosystem tracks and bounties to go over. So thank you very much for everybody that tuned in today, and catch you next time.